Time to embrace eating bugs because the World Economic Forum is supposedly doing it already. And just to show you guys that they've been planning to switch this up for a long time, watch this interview from 5 years ago. Now remember that time frame because it's very important. And just as a warning, this is not for the queasy, all right? So if you're eating, you might want to watch the rest of this video later on. But heck, we need to know exactly what's about to happen behind the scenes, all right?
Production of the insect burgers begins here in the Dutch town of Ermelo. The manufacturers have been breeding insects here for about 40 years, mainly as animal feed and for the cosmetics industry. But recently they've been producing more and more larvae for human consumption. Nico Rood is plant manager of Proti-Farm. He performs regular checks on the quality of his worms. Around 2 billion people around the world eat insects daily, but it's still a big taboo in Europe.
I think within 5 years it's quite normal to eat insects. It will be inside as an ingredient in a lot of food products, I think. So within 5 years I think we all eat a couple of times a year insects.
Okay, he said in 5 years, right? So when did this interview come out? Oh, 2017, huh? So that means that there are probably some food that we have right now that are mixed with bugs. How would that make you feel? You know, this footage was actually much longer, but even I couldn't even handle what the heck that they were showing in this thing. Now, before anybody comments, Ron, what is with this WEF? They're not telling us to eat bugs. What are you talking about? Well, my friend, a quick Google search will spare you a lot of embarrassment because look at this. You got a buffet of articles coming from weforum.org and who owns this website? Oh yeah, it's the World Economic Forum's website. So it's clear as day, guys. There's an article citing all the reasons why eating insects is good for climate change, why we might be eating bugs soon, and the inevitable shift to a new way of eating with bugs, and so many more write-ups that prove, or at least that's what they're trying to prove, that bugs is the next step for humanity when it comes to food. I thought it was in the Bible about eating bugs or something like that. Any of you guys read the Bible? Anyway, before I get any further, do you agree with them? And if you do, go ahead and type yes in the comment section down below that you want to go ahead and eat bugs and help with climate change. And if you disagree, go ahead and type no, all right? And while you guys are down there, help spread the truth to more people who need to know about all of this stuff by smashing the like button and of course by subscribing to the channel and turning on all notifications. I appreciate you folks. So anyway, getting back to the topic, the WEF, they've had this thing in the chamber for a while now. They really just needed more of a reason to be able to act on it. You know what I'm saying? Now you got to think, what could happen for people to be so desperate that they would actually start eating bugs? How about a lack of wheat for flour? That sounds plausible because we already know that that's fast becoming an issue. We also know that there's already a plan for it. Check this out.
Well, a bakery in Finland is making culinary history.
They say they are making the world's first ever insect-based bread. Yes, the Finnish company Fazer is using flour ground from dried crickets. Yeah, that was Katie right there. Each loaf contains about 70 crickets. It's about €1 or so more expensive than traditional wheat bread, but bakers say that's because it contains more protein.
The crickets are in the form of flour, and they are being ground as a whole cricket and then made into dough and then baked to a very delicious product.
Anyone else out there that relates to Katie? Did you hear her gag in the background when they talked about bread having crickets? And I know some of y'all are wondering, what is this for? Why do they want us to move so desperately into a bug-eating society? They're going to tell you it's all for climate change. It's all for the environment, for the future and all that good stuff, right? But 70 crickets for one loaf of bread? And it's more expensive too. How is this sustainable? Which leads me to a Tucker Carlson interview that I think really hits the nail on the head as to why they want this.
Do the people of the Netherlands want to eat bugs? Is this happening because there was a popular outcry, bring us more bugs?
No, of course not. Nobody's being asked. And I think that that's the point, you know. Nobody really inherently wants to eat bugs. When we think about bugs, we, crawly things, nobody wants to eat that.
Right.
But they're telling us that it's good for the climate, that this is the way that we can save the planet. And that little steak that you have on your plate that gives you some joy in life is that what actually ruins the world. And of course, none of that is true. I think that the push for insect eating is just a compliance test. Because our politicians know that when when they control the food, they control the people.
If compliance is what they want, we've already got a few cities here at home that are already ready to bow down. Were you guys aware of this C40 group? Well, now you are. It's basically a coalition of almost 100 mayors across the globe, all of which are all in when it comes to pushing for ways to address climate change. What are these methods? How about banning meat and dairy products? And just for good measure, and since gas-powered cars are so awful for the environment, why don't we ban private vehicles as well? Oh, and let's not stop there. Let's go ahead and set a 1,500-kilometer limit on each person's flight every 3 years. Does this sound like a city that you would want to live in? Now, if you ask me, it sounds a lot like the 15-minute cities that the WEF are so fixated on. So here's the most amazing part. They want this transition done within the next 7 years or by 2030. Which cities are included in this group? Go ahead and get yourself a pen because you might actually live here. You got Austin, Boston, Chicago, Houston, Los Angeles, Miami, New Orleans, New York, and well, just to make it short, there's like 14 cities here at home that they're already knee deep into this whole C40 thing.
In this era of a truly global climate crisis, we need a common response. A global Green New Deal that works to achieve climate, social, and economic justice together. Young people have been at the forefront of this fight and have changed the global climate movement. We have created a forum bringing together our global network of mayors and a group of young climate leaders to help shape climate action globally and build a future that works well for everyone. When we work together, we can change everything.
You know, their group name sounds a lot like something that I just can't mention here on YouTube. You know what I'm saying? C40, see something else, something that go boom. Anyway, anybody here who saw their city, are you okay with your private vehicle being taken away from you? Or maybe you're okay with eating bugs rather than that nice New York style pizza, because of course that cheese is made of dairy. Now, since I'm already asking questions, here's a really important one. Do you believe that these billionaires practice what they're preaching? Like right now, is Bill Gates biting on a delicious bug burger, or is he eating a filet mignon steak? Because he's never really confirmed if he's a vegan or something like that. When they have their yearly meetings in Davos and they all fly in on their private jets, do you think that they're being served bugs on a platter? Or are they getting steaks and other forms of meat-related products, possibly seafood? Because let's get real, guys. They're not gonna eat any freaking bugs. They'll show you that they're eating bugs, but that's it. It's all publicity. Like the politicians who got jabbed on camera. Do you really know what was in that syringe? I'm just saying. It's not like it's really a part of their diet, and of course actual meat will still be around, but it's going to be so expensive that only a select few people can be able to afford it. Who? That's right, the ultra rich who wanted us to eat bugs. We're not going to be provided with that luxury, but hey, at least they can still travel to wherever they want with their nice fancy private jets. The only way to get ahead of this thing is to spread the word, to have more people be aware of these goals from the WEF and any other groups that want more control over us. The question is, are you a free thinker or not? Are you willing to just go ahead and bow down? Or are you just going to listen and follow everything that's being told to you? Now, before I go, I just want to thank you guys for spending time with me. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for being a part of this community. Thank you for your support. Thanks for the likes. Thank you for subscribing, and I'll see you on the next video.